Coffee is like a journey through time. With a single sip, I can relive distant memories and create new experiences. Anonymous via Selena Cafe. There's something about the quiet comfort of coffee that brings memories rushing in. Childhood memories, the smell of something warm brewing in the kitchen, or the laughter of family over an old story. In today's episode, we'll follow that thread through a steaming cup, into a Staten Island kitchen, and onto the big screen, with a story about grandmothers, grief, and the power of tradition. Hey there, I'm Ben Schneider, and this is Real Beans, where we sip slow, talk deep, and take another look at the films and flavors that linger long after the credits roll. This podcast lives in the space in between the moments that make us pause, feel, remember. So whether it's bold and brooding or smooth and nostalgic, you can always count on one thing. We sip, we watch, we repeat. Hey coffee lovers and film buffs. Welcome back to Real Beans. Today we're diving into the heartwarming 2025 film Nonnas, a film that celebrates the beauty of family traditions, the healing power of food, and simple rituals like brewing coffee that help us feel connected. So go ahead, brew that cup and let's get into it. Coffee is more than a drink. It's a ritual, a grounding moment of connection and tradition. Whether you're sharing a cup with a friend or brewing it yourself, it has a way of making things feel just a little more grounded. And for me, it started early. I was probably 5 or 6 when my grandmother Jane handed me my first sip of coffee. She wasn't a coffee snob, at least not then, but she loved her daily cups and the comfort of her family around her. I think she enjoyed having a grandson who shared that love. And years later, after I'd gone full coffee snob, I introduced her and my dad to better beans and brewers. Even up until her passing in 2023, she still enjoyed a good cup. And every time I brew one now, I think of her. That same feeling of warmth and familiarity is what I get from Intelligentsia's House Blend. Founded in 1995, Intelligentsia helped reshape the specialty coffee landscape with direct trade, sustainable sourcing, and a deep respect for the craft. What truly sets Intelligentsia apart is its role as a pioneer of the third wave coffee movement. Co-founder Doug Zell transformed a simple idea, freshly roasted, beautifully brewed coffee, into a new standard. He and Emily Mange opened a cafe in Chicago with a mission: roast on site, connect directly with growers, and treat coffee with the same reverence as wine. By the early 2000s, Intelligentsia had launched a direct trade model. Their buyers began traveling to farms in Guatemala, Ethiopia, Rwanda, and beyond, meeting farmers face to face, tasting microlots, and paying premiums above fair trade prices. As Intelligentsia's site puts it, traveling tirelessly, building direct and lasting relationships with the people who grow them is still the best way we know to source the best coffees. And here's why that matters. Empowerment for farmers. You can skip the middleman, deliver higher prices, and support community growth. It also brings superior quality. Direct relationships allow careful selections of beans, microlots, and exceptional consistency. And finally, education and culture. Their cafes were among the first to feature barista training, pour-over bars, and clear tasting notes before that was the norm. Intelligentsia helped turn coffee into something worth savoring, stylistically and socially. Their house blend reflects that vision, welcoming enough for first-timers, complex enough for the curious, and brewed with intention every time. Their house blend is smooth, balanced, and welcoming, a great cup for any occasion. And speaking of great cups, let's talk about the classic drip coffee maker. I use the Aiden Precision Coffee Maker by Fellow, but any reliable drip coffee maker will do. For budget-friendly brewing, there's the ever-reliable Mr. Coffee Maker. For more precise flavors, try the Bonavita Connoisseur One Touch Brewer, and if you're ready to splurge, the Technivorm Mocha Master is the king of drip coffee makers. You can find Intelligentsia beans at most grocery stores, or at intelligentsia.com, and the Aiden Brewer Maker at fellowproducts.com. Most strip brewers are available online and in major department stores. And that brings us to a real place where tradition isn't just preserved, it's celebrated. Enoteca Maria in Staten Island. Founded by Joe Scaravella in 2007, this restaurant doesn't just rely on celebrity chefs, but on grandmothers, nonnas, from around the world. What began with Italian nonnas grew into a global tapestry, with women from Sri Lanka, Syria, Nigeria, and more, sharing their heritage through food. At Enoteca Maria, every dish tells a story. You don't just go there to eat, you go to connect. To be reminded that food, like coffee, binds us to our past and to each other. And now on to Nonnas. At first glance, it might seem like just another film parading older actresses for cheap laughs. But take a closer look, and you'll find something even richer. Each of the women brings a unique, layered presence to the film, and you can feel that director Stephen Chbosky was aiming for something more heartfelt. It also tackles an issue too often overlooked in Hollywood: the treatment of older actresses. For years, many of these actresses have been boxed into shallow roles: sex-crazed dotty grandmothers, nagging parents, comic relief. But in Nonnas, Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas, Talia Shire in Rocky and the Godfather trilogy, Brenda Vaccaro of Midnight Cowboy and Supergirl, and Susan Sarandon in Thelma and Louise and Dead Man Walking are given room to shine. Each character has depth, individuality, and a purpose. These actresses just aren't names, they're the emotional core of the film, and they deserve roles like this more often. There are a couple of favorite scenes throughout the film. One is a food fight. The nonnas, all stubborn and set in their ways, get under each other's skin while working in the kitchen. What follows is a chaotic, hilarious moment that reveals their spirit, bond, and their passion for their own cooking. It's family energy at the finest. But the real heart of the film comes after the restaurant's opening night. Joe, played by Vince Vaughn, is hopeful that the neighborhood and food critics will show up in droves, knowing how special the experience is. But only a few friends and relatives attend. Joe feels defeated. It's a vulnerable moment, and then the nonnas gather around him, reminding him that what he's doing matters, that it's worth continuing, that there is something special about this experience that they are sure will attract many. Sure, it's sentimental, but it's well earned. Anyone who's built something from passion knows this feeling. You pour your heart and soul into something, and at first it might seem invisible. But those moments of encouragement, the ones that keep us going, are everything. Whether it's a restaurant, a podcast, or any creative pursuit, the drive to keep moving forward is what matters. That moment hit close to home. When I decided to bring Real Beans to an audience, I had doubts. I wasn't sure if there would be an audience interested in blending coffee and film together. But the support I received from friends, family, listeners meant the world. It reminded me why we create in the first place. Not for applause, but for connection. The people who truly care will see what we're doing and encourage you to keep going, just like the nonnas did for Joe. That's what coffee, food, and stories do. They remind us we're not alone, and that's something I'll always be thankful for. If you're interested in watching Nonnas, you'll find it streaming on Netflix. I hope you enjoyed this nostalgic journey. Whether you're sipping Intelligentsia's House Blend or watching Nonnas, remember, the rituals we return to, brewing, cooking, creating, are what connect us. And with the right people in our corner, our passions can absolutely make the world a little warmer. Next time on Real Beans, we'll fly away to absurdity, hilarity, and a grocery store classic that's been warming cups for over a century. Surely you will join me for some mile-high laughs. And don't call me Shirley. Thanks again for spending time with me today. Keep your cups full and your spirits high. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. Visit realbeans.com for more stories and pairings. And follow along on Instagram for behind-the-scenes sips and scenes. See you next time.